Show you guys the facings and the strap. It's gonna have a strap. So same thing. Draw our grain line for the front and line it up on my center front grain line, weights, and tracing it out. So you guys are gonna get a lot of practice. That was my hope. Using this and just getting used to it and getting the feel of it. And I think when you sew a muslin, have any of you started sewing your muslin, cutting it out? You already finished? Awesome. Was it helpful to see it come together in 3D?
Well,
yeah, right?
Well,
So
I was stressing out about it yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, you know by yourself.
Well, no, because I can't read the module apparently. I didn't know it was going to be due Wednesday.
Oh, you were one of the folks that didn't know that you had extra time. Well, see, now you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, but I'm like so upset that I stress out about it so much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't read apparently.
Oh. Okay. So I traced around. I'm marking the apex, and I'm gonna mark. On my sloper, I also have the dropped 1 inch for the dart, the vanishing point 1 inch below. So I'm just gonna mark that too. I'm gonna automatically mark number 7 because I know I'm gonna use number 7. And so this is gonna be a high neck. So we're not going to be coming down into our number 1. So what I need to figure out first is how wide I want my shoulder to be. So you guys get a choice. You can either do 1.5 inches or 2. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 inches for the demo, but again, you guys can just do 1.5 inches. The strap is only gonna be 1.5 inches wide. So that means your shoulder is gonna be a little bit bigger. Or you can make your, if you want, well, anyway, let's just stick with this. So 2 inches, I'm making it 2 inches. And then I'm gonna drop my armhole 1/2 inch. So I wanna do that because I kinda want, that's a design choice, sort of a more sexy cutout armhole. So I know my armhole is gonna start here and kinda go like this down into here. So I can see my number 8 is gonna be activated. I know that's a weird, I'm just gonna say activated, it works for me. I know that number 2 is gonna be activated too, and number 3 and number 7. So those are all the guidelines that we're gonna be using. So now I can grab my carbon paper and start tracing off those guidelines. If you have a system where you trace off all the guidelines first, because that makes you happy right now, that's fine. I like figuring it out and only tracing out what I have to, so that's okay if you have a plan like that. Maybe after a while you might not do it that way anymore. So shoulder slope right here, and then number 2. And I always like to trace off a little bit of my bust radius here to see where everything's intersecting. And this one here. And then my darts, I'm just gonna draw those in. I don't need to trace anything because I'm not gonna use the umpire. So I should have everything that I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. Oops. So I'm gonna automatically go here. This is the easiest first. It's easy to draw in. And then I dropped my armhole, so I'm gonna draw it out. And I'm gonna square this off a I've already squared that off, I've squared this off. Gonna draw in my contour guidelines so that I can do my cut. We're doing pivoting and transferring again. Lots of pivot and transfer. And we'll draw in this dart, legs. And I need this because I'm going to be slicing down the center. So my dart's 3 inches wide. So 1.5 inches is the center. Mark the center, draw the center of the dart, because that's where I'm going to cut. So you guys should be cutting up the center of the dart, up to the apex first. And then you can cut this way, cut up to but not through, and then this way up to, not through. So that's why I need to have this guy in. I'm just going to square this off. So this is my apex, this is my vanishing point. I'll put this in just so you guys can see this, because we never make our darts go all the way to the apex. So I need to kind of rough in my style line before I start cutting, because I need to know where it intersects, right? So I just want something traditional. This guy is coming this way. And again, you guys, everyone's going to be doing pretty much the same thing. The only difference would be if you want to do a shorter shoulder on the front. So everyone's going to look pretty much the same. Okay, so now that I have that roughed in, I can slice up the center. Well, I'm going to cut it out a little bit first, because you can't really pivot and transfer until you cut away some of this paper. And I'm going to cut out my armhole too. So if you guys want to use your rulers and get it all trued up nicely, you can. I was able to just do it like that. I'm also going to draw in my new shoulder before I forget, right? Here's that new shoulder. That's number 8. Shoulder slope. So we took care of shoulder slope, we took care of the side seam. So now we're going to take care of these two. So this was number 8, right? Up here, and this was number 7, 3, and 2. So now all I have to do is slice up the center. But not through. And if you have trouble with this and you're always cutting through, you can put some tape on it to reinforce it. I never really do that. I never really needed to. So, but if you're having trouble, you can do that. And then I'm gonna cut down the straight. See how this one is curved? I'm gonna cut on the leg that's straight. And I'm just attacking this first. And when I close this up, it's gonna be, I'm taking it all the way to the line here, and it's not gonna match up perfectly, but that's fine, don't panic. We're just gonna cut the difference. So there's this is the difference. We're gonna split it in half. So I'm gonna true up my line, and it's gonna cut through the center like that. And now I'll do the next one. So now I need to do this one. And some of you already did both of these, I think, for your scoop neck, because some of you had deeper scoops, right? So this is kind of a review, get a little more practice. closing up the line. And again, it's not perfectly matching, but I'm gonna true that up. So this is getting rid of the gape in that armhole here, so it fits nice and neat like you see on the muslin. So now I can just, this is my draft, so you guys label it draft, because you guys are gonna be turning these in. So save these. These are really important because I need to see your work. And, you know, put your name on it too. That would be great if everyone put their names on it. So I'm gonna lay this on top to get my pattern. So now I'm just drafting my final pattern. So it's going pretty fast, not too many steps. And I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move on me. So I just want to make sure everything is lined up. It. And now I am tracing. So it's always easier to trace with just the little dashes. That's the way you can get the most accurate curve. If you want to use a French curve, ooh, I forgot to get my French curve out. You know, when you're cooking, have you guys heard of mise en place? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what this is when you're designing, when you're pattern making, you want to have everything out and ready, just like when you have your ingredients ready. It just makes it go faster. So if you're not comfortable doing it that way, you know, you can pull out this curve, because this curve is the perfect neckline for our front. Boom, just like that. So, I mean, we can even use it for the shoulder too. You can go like this. Just showing you some different ways if you're more comfortable. So here is where I need to true this up, so sorry.
It's okay.
So I want to cut through the center of this difference. So I'm gonna just take my pencil straight through and bring it up. And then here as well, there's like a little 1/8 of an inch. So now I'm gonna cut through the center of that and then bring it up to 0 with the rest of my line. So, and just make it pretty. So this is going away. And then I can use my ruler for my side seam. And my waist. So this here, I need to find the center so that I can get this point. So my dart has grown quite a bit. It's like 1 3/8 inches. So whatever, you know, this was like 1/2 inch and this was 1/4, so that's what you should, your dart should be growing. Whatever you took in up here, the dart grows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2. 2 1/4, there's my center. And I'm just gonna extend my dart intake out like this. Okay, and now I'm going to redraw. So this is my final pattern, so I want to make sure I'm backing off 1 inch. So I don't want to be from the apex actually, so I'm going to erase that and redraw my dart legs. They're right here. Did you guys see that? So there's my new dart. I ooh, I forgot to trace off my notches. I've been very bad about that lately. So my armhole notch is what I was talking about. So my cutout armhole changed quite a bit. So when that happens, how do we know where to put our notch? So it just right above the curve. It's just an eyeball thing. It's not, you don't have to measure, okay? So you want to have that notch, and then we're not going to have an armhole on the back, so you don't need to worry about that in the back. Now I'm just going to true up my lines. So I need to add seam allowance. This is going to be on the fold. So let's draw in the green line. True up the armhole. So I'm going to cut this out. Oops. Seam allowed. So if that happens, you can just go like this. So I like this curve. This is the curve to use. This is excellent for your armholes. And you know, I'm gonna even adjust it more now on the table if I don't like what I'm seeing. So I want to bring this more like this, I can. And this a better shape. And then if that's not working for me, because it's a halter now, which is quite different than a set-in sleeve, then I might go to a different ruler. Is that all making sense to you guys? And I'll add my seam allowance. So what is on the side seam? Half inch. And then this is sleeveless, so what's my seam allowance? Quarter inch. And what's my shoulder? Half inch. And my neck. So you guys are already getting to be expert pattern makers. And then at the waist, I'm gonna do a half inch, just for tradition's sake. I'll keep it at a half. And then for your final pattern, I know a lot of patterns, they cut the intake out of the dart. I like having it in there at this point, at this level, because if you want to make changes or let things out, but it does look better when you put it on the dress form. How were you guys taught last year? Were you taught to cut out the dart intake? Yeah, okay, so just do that. Did you do a 1/4 inch seam allowance around it? You don't remember?
Yeah.
I know I didn't do that for the scoop neck, I just left it. So for this one, we're gonna cut out the intake, because they're pretty big darts, and they get in the way and they don't look very good having all that intake in there, right? So we'll cut that, put that seam allowance in there. All right, let's cut it out. So for the scoop neck, I know I told some of you guys leave it. That's fine. For this one, we're gonna cut it out, okay? That way you guys can see what it's like both ways too. So what do I have left to do still on my pattern before I can turn it in? I've got my grain line. Labels and what else?
Notches.
So do you guys all have pattern notchers?
Yes.
Okay. You use the ones here in class?
Yeah.
So let's get this cut. And so for my label, it's going to be my name. This is the halter top. This is the front. And this is size 8. And it's going to be cut 1 because it's on the folds. And we have a notch here. So it's hard to see the notches even for me. So I'm gonna mark, you're not gonna mark them in Sharpie, but I'll mark them Sharpie. So you're gonna have a notch here at your dart legs. You'll have a notch here. And then you're gonna do the side seam so it matches to the back. So we know it's matching to the back. And then you're gonna have notches here for connecting to the strap and the facing, okay? And that's it, okay? So that's the front. Any questions? So for the back, let's go here. The back is pretty fun. And if you want like to do extra credit and make a skirt that goes with it and make like a full dress or something, or a pantsuit, you know, that could be cool. Wait, let me do it this way. There we go. Same thing, grain line, trace it out, weight it up. So we're not gonna need the shoulder slope because we're gonna do an open back. So I'm not gonna even worry about that. I know I'm taking in my side seam. So this is really important. So we're gonna be using 1 and 3. So number 1 and number 3. Bless you. So
2.
I'm gonna need my carbon paper.
I'm gonna do number 2.
Sorry, 1 and 2. Thank you. 1 and 2.
1, 2, 3.
Wait, no, we're not
1,
using
2.
2.
Or you're not gonna change
No, no,
the...
no. No, because there's no. You're getting in
Sorry,
my
just
head.
no. That was my question.
3. Sorry. No, we're not gonna. It's gonna be backless.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you, this is what the final pattern looks like.
Okay. Sorry.
Just trace it off. So on the back, you guys are gonna have a choice of how high you want it to come up in the center back. So remember, on the front, it's either a 2-inch or 1.5 inches out on the shoulder, and then draw in your armhole. On the back, it's either 5 inches or 6 inches from the waist. You have a choice on how high. you know, in the future, if you want to play with this again and experiment with more things, you know, try different heights and lengths, try something lower, I guess you can play with it all you want. So I'm going to draw in the new side seam, and we dropped it in the front. Remember, I dropped this armhole a half. We took it in and dropped, so I have to drop it in the back. So I dropped it a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to drop it a 1/2 inch here. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, measuring up from the waist. So this, I'm drawing in what my back's going to look like. So the pattern's going to be looking something like this. So you can either do 5 inches or 6 inches. So I'm going to do 6 and square it off. And now I'm going to rough in, just like I did in the front, I'm kind of going to rough in how I want this to look. So I didn't draw a picture for you guys, sorry. It looks kind of like this. This is the front with the darts, and it's got straps coming off the shoulders like this, and the back just looks like this. And it's got a seam right here. This. Okay, so drawing this in front and back.
Is the zipper in the center, back, center back?
Whatever you want it to be, we're gonna leave it open. It's gonna be an opening because you need something to get it into it. So we're doing our opening in the center back, okay? You don't have to sew a zipper in though. We're not putting zippers in that. I think that's too much for you guys. So again, I'm just figuring out the shape of this. And I like nice curves. I don't like, that's me, I don't like things straight. So the body doesn't have any straight lines, everything. So that's just me. You might like things straighter. So that's sort of my rough line. Now I need to cut. So it's intersecting on this guideline right here. So this is where I'm gonna have to activate this. I'm gonna have to take it in. So this was the original dart, but because we are doing this stylized cutout, we need to use this line. We're intersecting it. Does that make sense? So remember on our scoop neck, we were like up here, so we didn't even get into this, so we didn't have to worry about it. But now we're down into it. So, you know, if you do something like this in the back, you would get into it. So now we're here. So I'm gonna cut this out so I can start slashing and spreading, and this is my draft. And you guys can write your name. You guys gonna remember all of this when we break? It's not quite 10 yet, so we're good. So I'm gonna draw in these guys. So literally all I have to do is just cut along my guidelines and match them up together. So all this in the center is going away. Boom, 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 boom. Does that make sense? And then we're going to take a piece of scrap paper. We're just lining them up like this and taping it together. Okay, so these two get taped together. So they're not going to match up perfectly. So, and that's normal. So I want to match the waist. That's what I want you guys to do. So we want to keep the waist, and what we're gonna correct is this style line up here. So I just need to tape it very carefully. Kind of fun, cut and paste. Are any of you guys, I know Jacob's using Clo 3D, are any of you guys using Clo 3D?
Yeah, I'm using
Oh, good, okay. Who else? Just,
It's a program that you can sketch 3D on computer.
yeah. So I'm gonna be redrawing this line, so I need the paper, so I'm gonna tape it down. And again, so this is about a 1/4 of an inch, so I want to kind of split the difference. That's what we're doing. I'm going to cut right through the center of it, so I'm taking a little off the top and adding a little to here, and I'm just going to redraw my line and make it look nice and come down to 0. So now I'm going to cut, I'm going to tape this down a little bit. And this will be my new style line for the back. And now all I have to do is add my seam allowance. So you guys, this is a draft. This isn't a final pattern. So you're gonna put a piece of paper on top of it and trace it and add seam allowance and your labels, okay? So if you want to trace it like this, I mean, I'm not, if you like doing it this way or you have a better way, I'm fine, you know, whatever works for you. But literally we're tracing this, this, and this. This is my new line, right? And this is not on the fold. We have to have an opening because we're not doing knits, right? So don't forget, this is my center back and this is going to be a straight grain line. And this is where my opening is going to be, and this is my side seam. So I need my 1/2 inch. I'm going to do a 1/4 here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. And then I'm going to have my notches. So this is important because the notches on this need to match the notches on your facing. So I get to pick where I want my notches right now, and then wherever I put them here is where I'm going to put them on my facing. I want to make sure when I trace, I'll show you how to do the facing on Wednesday, and we'll do the notches. And that's it. So on Wednesday, so here's the final pattern. Back. I didn't do it for you guys. See the back? Here it is. So here it is. Center back, and my notches are here. Double notch because it's the back. Notches here for the side seam. And that's what the pattern's gonna look like. And remember, you guys are gonna rabbit punch everything. Any questions?